Jack. Jack.
Titanic, 1997. 15 genius and madness behind the masterpiece that will blow your mind. What if I told you that Titanic, the cinematic masterpiece we cherish today, was dangerously close to never seeing the light of day? Or that James Cameron's relentless pursuit of realism led to outlandish decisions that teetered on the border between brilliance and madness? Imagine a chaotic film set where cast members nearly drowned and a peculiar incident involving LSD-laced sabotage unfolded. The tumultuous journey of creating Titanic mirrored the fateful voyage of the ship itself. But was the chaos truly worth it? Join me as we explore 15 astonishing facts behind this iconic film. 1. Was the Titanic really the Olympic in disguise? Could the Titanic disaster have been an insurance scam? Some researchers believe the White Star Line switched the Titanic with its older, damaged sister ship, the Olympic. The theory suggests that after the Olympic suffered costly damage in 1911, the company swapped the ships to collect insurance. Allegedly, Titanic's true identity sank on April 15, 1912, while the real Titanic, disguised as the Olympic, continued sailing until 1935. While historians largely dismiss this claim due to structural differences and lack of evidence, skeptics argue inconsistencies in ship design and survivor testimonies support the switch theory. Could history have been rewritten? 2. Was Titanic really filmed in a pool? Did you know that many scenes in Titanic were filmed in a massive pool rather than the open ocean? Director James Cameron used a specially constructed tank in Mexico to create the illusion of a sinking ship. The tank, holding millions of gallons of water, allowed for controlled environments, making it safer for actors and crew. The iconic sinking scenes, where the ship breaks apart and passengers struggle in the freezing water, were carefully choreographed in this pool. Clever camera angles, lighting, and CGI enhanced the realism, making Titanic one of the most visually stunning films of all time. 3. The iceberg collision. What challenges did filmmakers face when recreating the infamous iceberg collision in Titanic? Behind the scenes, James Cameron's team used a mix of practical effects, miniatures, and CGI to make the impact realistic. The 770-foot-long set, built on a massive tilting platform, simulated the ship's sinking. Actors performed in freezing water, though it was warmer than the real Titanic in 1912. The iceberg itself was a mix of CGI and a foam model, strategically lit to appear massive. Cameron even filmed real iceberg footage in the North Atlantic to enhance authenticity. Every detail aimed to make history feel real. 4. The studio thought Cameron was insane. James Cameron had ambitions that transcended mere filmmaking. He sought to transport his audience through time itself. When he pitched Titanic 1, he didn't frame it as a romance or a disaster flick. He envisioned it as a time machine, a portal to the past that would allow viewers to experience the harrowing tragedy of the ship's sinking firsthand. However, Cameron's aspirations came with a hefty price tag. In exchange for complete creative control and an astronomical budget, he demanded cutting-edge technology that simply didn't exist at the time. Fox Studios teetered on the brink of canceling this project, convinced that Cameron's fervent dedication to his vision had crossed into the realm of insanity. And this was merely the tip of the iceberg. 5. The first-class set was actually smashed to pieces. While most directors rely on CGI to create destruction, Cameron chose a different route with audacious bravado. He meticulously crafted an entire first-class dining room, adorned with opulent furnishings that mirrored those of the original Titanic. And when the ship commenced its catastrophic flooding, actors were not just playing their parts, they were genuinely immersed in the chaos. As real water surged around them, they were forced to navigate through actual furniture, shattering tables and chandeliers in a breathtaking one-take scene that could never be replicated. The stakes were unimaginably high, testing both the cast's skills and their sanity in the face of genuine destruction. 6. The water was ice cold, and actors suffered. Think those shivering scenes were a product of top-notch acting? Think again. The water the actors plunged into was agonizingly close to freezing, posing real danger for cast members, particularly for Kate Winslet, who was under constant threat of hypothermia. She even battled pneumonia after steadfastly refusing to don a wetsuit, believing it would detract her from her performance. Meanwhile, Cameron thrived on this intensity, convinced that authentic suffering would translate into more powerful and moving portrayals of their characters. 7. Cameron was stung with a poison needle on set. While filming in the picturesque landscapes of Nova Scotia, the cast and crew experienced a bizarre and unsettling incident. They were mysteriously poisoned by chowder laced with PCP, leading to chaotic scenes of hallucinations, paranoia, and actors and crew members stumbling into walls in a disoriented frenzy. In a desperate attempt to remain conscious amid the madness, Cameron had to stab himself in the leg with a needle. The identity of the perpetrator remains a haunting mystery, casting a shadow over the film's production. 8. The famous "I'm flying" scene was improvised. One of the cinema's most memorable and heartwarming moments was not scripted, but simply a delightful spur-of-the-moment creation. Between takes, Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet were engaging in playful antics. DiCaprio, with arms outstretched, jokingly declared, "I'm flying, Jack." This spontaneous expression of joy struck a chord with director James Cameron, who immediately recognized its magic and decided to weave it into the film, forever immortalizing that joyous moment in the hearts of audiences. 9. The Heart of the Ocean prop vanished. The breathtakingly stunning blue diamond necklace, known as the Heart of the Ocean, took on a life of its own after shooting wrapped on the film. This iconic prop, which glittered with the allure of untold stories, mysteriously disappeared under perplexing circumstances. Some whisper that a crew member might have spirited it away, while others speculate it succumbed to the depths of the sea. Regardless of its fate, the real Heart of the Ocean, a dazzling diamond valued at over $20 million, was eventually worn by Celine Dion during a glamorous Oscars ceremony, garnering its own share of legendary status. 10. The cast and crew almost drowned. James Cameron's commitment to authenticity led him to insist on real-life sinking simulations during the film. This unyielding dedication to realism, however, came at a perilous cost. One fateful day, as the elaborate set began to collapse, actors found themselves ensnared underwater, desperately struggling to reach the surface. The atmosphere was thick with panic as crew members sprang into action, risking their own safety to rescue their colleagues from the depths. It was a harrowing moment that highlights the thin line between filmmaking and catastrophe. 11. DiCaprio almost walked away. Leonardo DiCaprio, initially hesitant about taking on the role of Jack Dawson, grappled with the perception that the character was overly simplistic. With thoughts of pursuing a darker, more complex project, he was close to walking away entirely. It took an earnest appeal from Cameron and, crucially, the persuasive encouragement of Kate Winslet to sway him. She assured him that their collaborative experience would be joyous and fulfilling. It's hard to imagine the iconic film without DiCaprio's captivating portrayal, a decision that could have changed the course of cinematic history. 12. The sinking was one giant, one-take scene. The breathtaking final sequence of Titanic, where the ship meets its tragic end, is a master class in filmmaking. Almost every element you see, water gushing in torrents, frantic passengers screaming in terror, and the dramatic splitting of the ship, was executed in a single, breathtaking take. Understanding the logistical challenges and immense costs tied to resetting the massive set, Cameron decided there would be no do-overs. The pressure was immense. If an actor faltered in their performance, they had to adapt and roll with it, leading to a raw, genuine intensity that made the scene unforgettable. 13. The movie's budget surpassed the cost of the actual Titanic. Here's a fascinating tidbit. The production budget for the epic film Titanic exceeded a staggering $200 million, a figure that dwarfs the original cost of building the RMS Titanic, which was only $7.5 million in 1912. When adjusted for inflation, that amounts to roughly $150 million today. This means that the efforts to bring James Cameron's cinematic vision to life was not just grand in scale, but also more financially demanding than the actual construction of the legendary ship itself. 14. James Cameron didn't want a song in the movie. The iconic ballad, "My Heart Will Go On," performed by Celine Dion, had become synonymous with Titanic. Yet behind the scenes, director James Cameron was initially resistant to the idea of incorporating a song into his film. He feared that a sentimental ballad would detract from the film's gravity. However, the composer, undeterred by his skepticism, secretly recorded the track. When Cameron finally listened to it, he found himself captivated and forced to reconsider his stance. This pivotal moment turned out to be fortuitous. The song not only won an Academy Award, but also blossomed into one of the biggest musical hits in history, forever linking it to the film's legacy. 15. The floating door controversy. Could Jack have truly fit on that iconic door? In a fascinating twist, director James Cameron decided to settle the debate in 2023 by putting a theory to the test himself. After careful analysis, he concluded that yes, both Jack and Rose could have clung to the makeshift raft and survived the icy waters of the Atlantic. However, Cameron explained that Jack's sacrifice was essential for the narrative's emotional weight and depth, a decision that has sparked endless debates among fans who still passionately argue over the fate of the beloved characters. Bonus fact: who is the real Rose? Did you know that the character Rose from Titanic might have drawn inspiration from a real individual? Beatrice Wood, a talented artist and writer of the 21st century, shared striking resemblances to the fictional Rose. With her spirited nature and a flair for rebellion, Beatrice hailed from a privileged background, defying societal expectations to forge her own path. Her life was marked by a passionate, forbidden romance that echoed the dramatic love story depicted in the film. Director James Cameron later revealed that Beatrice's vibrant spirit and unique story were among his inspirations for the character. Intriguingly, while her life was full of adventure and creativity, the real Beatrice Wood never set foot on the fateful Titanic. Cameron swiftly discarded the original concept in favor of the quiet, poetic ending that has since become iconic, leaving viewers with a profound sense of closure. Final thoughts. So, was Titanic a masterpiece built on genius or madness? James Cameron risked everything, pushed his actors to the limit, and nearly lost his own life in the process. But the result? One of the greatest films of all time. What do you think? Was it all worth it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.